Welcome to Unmute Yourself. I'm your host, Jennifer Carter, and I'm so glad you're here. This podcast is about lifting the curtain on leadership, purpose, and the real stories behind people who dared to do things differently. We'll talk about how they found their path, the struggles they faced, and how they built something that truly matters. These are everyday people doing extraordinary things, and I want you to know you are capable of that too. Today's episode features someone whose work defines service driven innovation. And if you've never met Karla, you are in for a treat. She is a powerhouse. She is the president and CEO of Senior Resource Alliance in Central Florida. So Karla Radka has built her career at the intersection of business, community, and compassion. She's launched programs that combine technology and humanity, from scent discriminate canines helping find missing seniors to AI companions and radar systems that keep older adults safe and connected. Under her leadership, the Senior Resource Alliance has become a lifeline for thousands, ensuring that aging and dignity isn't just possible, it's a priority. Karla, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Jennifer, to be in your show. What a special treat just to spend time with you this afternoon.
Thank you so much. It's always a joy to hear you speak and to just learn from you. So let's just start at the beginning. So what first inspired your work with serving older adults in vulnerable communities?
It's a very interesting path. I have always been drawn to the elderly. I was very close to my grandparents, and they were pillars in my childhood. I think that they were great um, partners to my education and just raising me. And I come from a very large family where uh, multi-generation family dynamics are just part of who I am. So I was very close to my grandparents. I saw them as just incredible individuals that with unconditional love and with so much great inspiration, and they knew everything. So for me, it was just a very national gravitation to be able to help the elderly. I think that at the beginning and at the end of life, of this natural life, somehow we become dependent on others. Just being on that side of being also a caregiver, I think it has been just part of the motivation to be able to help the elderly.
That's beautiful. I love that you're from a large family, that multi-generational approach. And I know trying to teach people, all generations, different things. So how do you go about with your AI innovations and your canines? And you've got such innovative approaches. So how do you build that into the work that you're doing?
I think it's so important to be able to leverage technology and any resources that are available and to remain curious. I think that a great skills for anyone in leadership is to always be curious and always to be looking for those intersections where you can bring additional resources, where you can just combine different industries and all for the good. And when the possibility to be able to have canines trained and part of the police departments and search for seniors that may be lost in the community due to dementia or Alzheimer's, it looked like the perfect intersection to be able to bring law enforcement, technology, and training of dogs that are capable and technology um, that is evidence based, like the
Mhm.
scent kits. There is actually a kit where someone can store the scent of an individual,
I had no
present that
idea.
to the dog, and then for the dog just to be able to find that person that is lost in the community. And it's a win-win-win. It's a win for our community, for our seniors. It's a win for the police department and law enforcement because it does make sense that to have that technology and the resources to find individuals and just finding the resources and partnering with grantors who were open to the conversation, who really got into this work along with us and to be able to fund this operation. So far, we have 7 dogs, and the family of
Wow.
dogs, the family of canines continue to grow.
That is so cool. And something that I admire about you, I've followed your career for quite a long time, and you always seem to be so energetic and so innovative and so curious and passionate, always doing something new. And you mentioned, the grants and resources and funding to continue that work. So for you, What have been the biggest challenges of leading in a field that often struggles for visibility and resources, quite honestly?
I think it's very important that when you're a leader, you also become an evangelist of your work and finding those natural partners and those opportunities to be able to expand and grow. When it comes to really finding partnerships, I usually go with the idea with an open mind that I am going to do my part and I am going to see how I can actually support others. And it's more about being the giver than the taker and then creating that opportunity. And in that space, that's when you have everything that it makes and everything that it makes sense, that you can actually be able to just create those opportunities for growth, for change, for innovation. I think it's very important for leaders that show up authentically with who you are. People can really know and align with who you are as a person, as an individual, showing up in integrity with what you can do, and then keeping your word. I think it's very important.
Right, so how do you maintain your authenticity? Where do your values come from and who you are?
I think that my main value is going to be integrity because I think that that's the core value, and then everything goes from there. Integrity is a value that you cannot do it halfway. Either you have integrity or you don't. And integrity is on your words, on your commitment, on who you are and who you show up and who you are for your team. And that is part of my commitment to be able to show up in authenticity. This is the only person that you can get from me.
So, what do you do, Carla, when you get stuck, right? Like you have this great idea, you want something to move forward, and all of a sudden it's not quite working out how you wanted it to. How do you hold up integrity in those moments?
I think that in integrity, you can recommit. In integrity, you can say, I was wrong. I think that we need to rethink this and go back to the drawing board. And or we need to put this on the shelf for now. It's not for now, maybe for later. One thing that I think is very important for any type of projects is that the success of a project is not in one person. One person might be leading, one person may be the face of the organization, but behind that, there are multiple individuals that are extremely talented, multiple individuals that are part of that team. And I think that recognizing that and acknowledging that is a teamwork, I think is very important and valuing everyone. I believe that you need to hire smart people and let them do their work and take their assets, their input into consideration because that's why you hire people to do their work so they can also be co-creators of the
Oh my
success.
okay. So what you said just totally hit home for me. So I teach a class on delegation and accountability, and people are like, but I don't trust my team or I want to micromanage. And it sounds like you, especially, I know you've been with some very large organization, and that collaboration is a cornerstone of who you are as a leader, right? So how do you cultivate trust in shared purpose across your internal team and then across your stakeholders and other partners? Because that's a big deal. Without it, you can't get anything done.
Absolutely. I think that it's very important to really show up in the authenticity in your team, in your community, with your stakeholders all the time. I think that is key. Trust and building trust. And how you do that? Well, I think that when selecting team members or any stakeholders that are part of your work, it's very important to actually put them through that lens of the core values. Are they in alignment with who you are as an individual and as a community member doing this kind of work? I think it's very important to have that framework and that alignment and core values. And what is that? Well, they will focus on the mission. You leave the ego at the door. This is not about an ego trip. This is not about who can get the accolades or the missions. This is about making the difference in human beings. And when you can do it for one individual, for two to three, or in a large scale, that is the outcome that you really want to see. So finding individuals that align with those core values, that it has that curiosity, that ingenuity, and they complement the work. One thing about us humans is that nobody's perfect. So what I can say is that my team complement my work, complement my qualifications and my initiative. And that is very important. I am always looking for individuals that have what I don't have. So then we, as a whole, we can all be together. We can all co-create and create change and
Preach.
innovation.
Preach, Carla. It's so good. You really know who you are, it sounds like, as a leader and what your strengths are. How did you figure that out? And when did it dawn on you to your core that you know what your strengths are as a leader and what you bring to the table and how you want to build your team to complement those? Do you remember a moment?
Yeah, so I think that when just bringing an additional team member or looking for stakeholders that for a partnership, one of our core values in our organization is making informed decisions.
Mm,
And we put individuals to that lens. Is this is in good alignment with what we're doing? Is this is going to enhance the quality of life of the people that we have been called to serve? Are we ready to do this right now? Do we have capacity? Are we at capacity right now? Do we have the capacity to be able to implement more? And where is the alignment in the organization? And then being an asset base. It's not the cup half empty, it's the cup half full. And always looking for those assets. So just practicing those initial principles, I think is very important just to set up the framework of where we're going to be moving forward and what is it that we're going to be able to accomplish.
that also made me think of I see organizations have that shiny object syndrome, right? Like, oh, this is hot and cool right now. Let's pivot here. Oh my gosh, no, wait, we have to stop and go do this. And it's just one thing after another that might all fit somehow in some way, but it might not be exactly the right time or I guess I would say the organization can't quite keep up with it. So like, how do you stay focused and decide which innovations are worth pursuing so you're not overloaded?
Definitely. So something that is very important is to look for sustainable systems and for systems that are the answer to a particular need. We know that one issue in terms of seniors is the one of the fastest groups of homelessness in our
Mm,
country are seniors, and not necessarily because of addiction or because of domestic violence. It's more related to affordable housing, the loss of income from a family member or a spouse. And we know that that is a serious issue. So, how can we intervene in a way that is sustainable, that is going to be able to provide roof and with dignity, with respect for individuals, understanding that this particular need is a very expensive fix?
mhm.
How can we ensure that even for temporary housing or even for tonight, where are those partners where we can refer for someone who may be house insecure or houseless in our community? So we're always looking for, those pain points and what is it that is happening in the community and where we can present solutions.
Yeah, so you're looking at the big picture, it sounds like. You're always keeping it front and center. Okay, so when I think about you, I think about a total baddie, right? You've got more awards than I could even name, right? You've been recognized nationally from like Orlando Women of the Year, Change Maker, the list goes on and on and on. But I want people to see the Carla that came before the awards. So, how did you start and how did you get here?
I think that I don't know any other type of life besides, life of service. And the first time that I can remember actually that I did any volunteer work was when I was 5 years old. And I went on a mission trip. It was a medical mission. And I remember my mother giving me a job. And my job was just to carry vitamins from one room to the other or carry supplies from one room to the other. And the interesting part is that in the morning I would work, and then in the afternoon, she will release me to a mother in the village. So the children, the kids that will receive medical services in the morning were my friends, and I would play with them in the afternoon. And that created such a special bond for me because I remember not thinking about the kids who went in the morning to receive medical treatment, medical care. They were my friends, and we will play together in the afternoon. And so that created a very strong sense of community and that relationship with others and see all of us together in an ecosystem that we call society. and
Mhm.
then never stop. So my career has been built in community work and for a couple of decades in leadership positions. And I totally believe, that the opportunity to be able to lead is a privilege. It doesn't come with your DNA, it's action, it's a decision that you make to lead. So I believe that too, that leadership is an action and you make that decision every day to be able to lead and to do it with integrity and to do it with enthusiasm and curiosity, understanding that the first people that you need to take care of is your team.
What is People miss this. People miss that. I'm so glad you said that. The people that you need to take care of are your team. What does that mean or look like to you?
I think that for taking care of the team, first of all, at the most fundamental level, is ensuring that the team have the resources that they need to be able to do their job. Clear direction, good resources that are necessary for their work, good systems, good technology. We leverage technology significantly in our organization. Good training and retraining where it's needed and coaching where it's needed. And more than anything, the understanding that you have their back, that you are
Yeah.
behind them, and that you are that they can count on you. There is
You
mutuality in that because you count on them, but they are counting on you.
Yeah, it goes back to that trust piece that you were talking about earlier.
Yes.
Absolutely. Do you, like, growing up, being 5 years old, helping with the medication, right, and playing with the other kids in the village? Now, I mean, haven't you didn't you speak, at the Aspen Institute, right? And the
I
World
did.
Economic
Yes.
I mean, right, World Economic Forum? Like,
Yes,
what
that too.
my mind, you all, I just yeah, fangirl. But what would you tell that little girl, right? So here you are, super successful, very well known, you're standing on stages, taking care of your team, canines, tech, taking care of seniors. You've worked in a number of social enterprises. Like, was this dream ever a possibility for you?
But I was one that it wasn't really that have my life map out and design every moment. A lot came with opportunities. And when I say that, I want to talk about my mentors because I had the most incredible mentors in my career that it really encouraged me. And it gave me that opportunity or that nudge. You might be good at this. You may do just follow up on this lead. And then opening doors, and I think that that is another important aspect of being in leadership. And once you have climbed that ladder of success, not to be afraid to bring somebody else with you. That ladder of
Mhm.
success to break because somebody else is up there with you. On the opposite, it's only getting stronger.
Yeah, you've also said the words leadership is action, taking those steps forward. And what I just heard you say is the people that brought you up and along and opened the doors for you, you took action by taking advice, peeking around the corner, walking through the doors instead of saying, "No, I can't do that. I could never." I see folks that are like, I could do it, but and what if, maybe, that's not me, that's for her. I could never. What do you say to those women who are facing self-doubt and stopping themselves from walking through that door?
I really like one exercise that I have done, especially with young professionals, is to write a letter to themselves 10 years from now and write in that letter where they want to be and what they would like to be doing. And in order to get there, you have to take action. So after that letter is done, seal it because it's for you to be open in 10 years. Put it on a time capsule 10 years from now. But then the rest of the exercise is what are you going to do today to be able to continue to move forward? Where is your energy going to be focused? What is the books that you're going to read, the podcast that you are going to listen, the
Mhm.
people that you are going to meet that you can really expand that area of interest and continue to grow and be good at something that not only you have an interest in, but that there is also a need because one have to match the other.
Nobody needs what I have to offer, Carla. I hear that too. Nobody's going to pick me. Nobody's going to. I see women who want to be on a stage like you are. They want to be involved in growing their career. But most importantly, it's wanting to make a difference and an impact. And what I'm hearing you say is just to take the tiny steps and you'll make a difference instead of just sitting back and saying, I can't. It's the little tiny bits of action that make a difference in the world. So, if you could offer one piece of advice to future CEOs, especially women, what would it be?
My piece of advice, if someone is looking at becoming the next CEO and and having that career on their path to be a CEO. CEOs operate a lot like free agents too. They report to a board of directors. They are a little different than the rest of the team that they may be leading. So, what is so important? To start working on yourself,
Mm,
looking for opportunities to brush up on that professional acumen, to be able to surround yourselves with others that have either the same goals or that are already there, to find good mentors and to find those opportunities for and map out their career from there.
oh my gosh, it's like picking your tribe, picking your circle of influence so they will lift you up.
Absolutely. Yes.
Beautiful. So, Carla, you were just a joy. Okay. So, I do have some quick fire questions for you that I ask every single guest. So, just answer with the first thing that comes to mind, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Fun.
What's one lesson you've learned that you wish everyone knew?
One lesson that I learned, that set up your alarm 15 minutes before it's your time to wake up.
I'm tired. Okay, I will do that for you because you say so. Look, I'm picking up the breadcrumbs. Here we go. Okay. If you could go back and tell your younger self one thing, what would it be?
Don't doubt yourself too much. You have it all.
And in one sentence, what does leadership mean to you today?
Action
Oh,
is action. And in many times it's love and action, because to be able to serve, to be able to create the spaces and leave a place better than you find it, it requires a commitment and it requires action.
wrote that one down. Love and action. And what's the boldest choice you've made that's paid off?
I think probably the boldest choice that I have made, it was to move to another country that I didn't know the language, that I didn't have much of my tribe and support system, and then having the ability to be able to find my own tribe, develop that support system, find incredible people around me that are willing to do the work, willing to create a better society and create a better world
Wow. In spite of fear.
in
Yeah.
spite of fear. So
Yeah.
being
No doubt.
brave,
Be
having
brave.
courage.
Beautiful. And then what's the next big dream that you're working toward?
I am working on a book.
What?
That's a really exciting project, and just working on my book is it's another labor of love. And at times I have put it aside because of other projects and priorities. But I am back on that, with energy to be able to continue to write.
That is so exciting. Do you have any more else that you can tell us about it? And if not, that's okay too. We'll just be like stalking your LinkedIn and following you.
Oh, sure, sure. A lot it has to do with leaderships and lessons that I have learned, and anecdotes, and a path that it can really help others to be able to lift and to find those qualities and that vocation and that decision to lead, and then make it real.
Great. Now, Carla, thank you so much. This has been such a powerful conversation. Thank you for sharing your story and your wisdom. But before we wrap, I do have two final questions. Okay, if listeners walk away remembering just one thing from this conversation, what do you hope it is?
Encouragement and the ability to be able to say, I can do it. I think that if I can do it, anybody can. That is, I am not any different or any more special than anybody else, because leadership, is not a DNA special setup that you come wired with. It's a decision that you make, it's action. And at the end of the day, I totally believe that we can find that courage, we can find that decision, and more than anything, the discipline, the rigor, the grit to be able to keep going.
Wow. And I'm going to quote you on all of those things. I'll remember those for a long, long time, Carla. Thank you so much. So, just curious on a personal note, what has it meant for you to share your story here on Unmute Yourself today?
I think it's such a special honor to be able to talk about myself, that I was actually coaching someone about speaking engagement, and I said, and I told this woman is that I say, share your story. That's unique. you know your story. Nobody else knows your story better than you. So sharing your story always give that opportunity to inspire somebody else that it can relate, and it's a gift to others to be able to be open, vulnerable about what lessons learned and about the future too.
That's great. Now, you, in just a few days, right? You are going to be on another big stage sharing your story. Can you tell us more about that?
A really exciting opportunity that it has been presented and is to do the keynote speaking engagement for a women's leadership conference. And I am still working on that speech. It's lengthy. It's about an hour. I haven't done an hour speech before for a keynote, and so it's a little different. But I am preparing, and I am looking forward to that opportunity to be able to meet women and to influence others. Because I think that is probably one of the most important things. Once you have mastered a gift, giving that gift to other, that is the culmination of anything that you can do. It's you get to a point that there is nothing else to prove. But what you
Yeah.
can do is give that gift to others.
I also appreciate that even though you haven't done an hour-long speech keynote before, you're doing it anyway because you're taking action and you're betting on yourself. So cool. So finally, Carla, how can listeners connect with you and support your work?
Oh, thank you for that question.
Yes.
Well, my profile is available on LinkedIn and also in the website of my organization, and that information will be made available through your podcast.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much again, Carla, for joining me. And thank you to everyone listening for showing up, reflecting, and unmuting yourself in your own way. If today's conversation inspired you, please share this episode, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories of leaders creating work that truly fits and matters. And if you'd like to support the podcast, consider making a monthly donation on Buzzsprout. It helps us keep bringing you these voices that matter. And until next time, unmute yourself and step into the story only you can tell.
Thank you.